What's going on, everybody out there, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. This video, just like last week, we are doing it in a video format instead of a live show format. Last week we did it because we were late. This week we're doing it to prevent being late. We literally just finished reading all of our books today, tonight, Monday night. It's already 12 in the morning, so technically it's Tuesday if you want to get super technical, but at least in California it's still Monday.
Yep.
For another couple hours. So, because of that, we decided to do it as video format. However, we did take a look at the numbers. Last week's video only hit 19 views, whereas all of our other shows that we've been doing that were live shows hit 50 or more. Or, I'm sorry, 40 or more. 2 weeks ago was 50. So, obviously, you guys are telling us you like us doing this show in a live show format as opposed to the video format. But, unfortunately, sometimes we have to do this as a video. I love the quality of the video when we do it as a video instead of a live show, but nothing replaces having a conversation with you guys while we're doing the review. But I would like to remind all of you once again, every Friday, except for the past couple of weeks, there is a show on Comic Frontline, Dark Avenger Live. We do it for an hour every single week almost, unless something comes up, from 9:30 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Friday. If you guys would like to come out and talk with us, if we ever have to do a video like this where it's a video format, come on over to Comic Frontline on Friday and hang with us for an hour. We go beyond that hour if we have a lot to talk about. So definitely, if you'd like to have a live show with Mike and I, and we have guests on from time to time, come to Comic Frontline, watch Dark Avenger Live. Now, as far as the Dark Avenger comic book review show, please, for those of you that enjoy this show, take this video, share it with your friends, share the show with your friends, share the channel, especially if you know they like comic books. Tell people about the Dark Avenger comic book review. Let's help build up the viewer and comment and basically the viewers community for this channel and the Dark Avenger comic book review, just so that we have people watching and people enjoying. Now, we have a lot of books this week. How many books? Or you didn't count
I
this
think
week?
we have 28.
28 books.
So
we are pretty darn close to what we had last week. And I told you guys at the beginning of last week's review it was going to be no more than a half hour. We are still trying really hard to work this as a discussion and not a deep review. This is a work in progress. Hopefully by the time we hit at least 450, we'll have a format down. I noticed that. I rewatched the episode last week, and I noticed that we did tend to get reviewish towards the middle and the end especially.
No, I kind of discussed.
No, I meant in general. The whole show started to...
Oh, you mean that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, what we're going to do is, as always, Marvel and DC, we go a little bit more in-depth with books that we enjoyed and we didn't enjoy. With the Independents, we were a little bit looser because, for those of you that read the Independents, you know what we're talking about. And for those of you that don't read the Independents, usually that's where you skip to Marvel and DC anyway. But we're going to really try to get through these books as quick as we can because, as I said, this is a video format, and I know anything beyond an hour video, beyond a half-hour video format, usually you guys have to wait and dedicate time to that. And we don't want you to do that. We want you to enjoy this just like you'd enjoy it if you were watching it live. Next week, hopefully, we'll be back to the live format. So if you're around, Monday nights, we do have the Dark Avenger comic book review live. And you definitely are more than welcome to come by in the comments and talk comics with us. I've told a few people in comments already, when we do this specific show, comic talk for the week before, or for last week's books only. We aren't talking anything else general comment-wise. That's for Dark Avenger Live. I've done enough. This was a almost 4-minute intro. Mike, when were the books for this week released?
It released on August 16, 2017, and we are going to start with the Digital's first from Independence.
Now, I don't know why, but I guess DCBS might... And I did order this book, so it's probably just it was released late. TMNT Dimension X issue number 3. This character is it's hilarious because this is the same week as SummerSlam. The character that they're saving is that tree, and he is a space wrestling ring announcer. Mm-hmm. And Mikey, of course, doesn't know wrestling's fake, and Raphael gets thrown into a match, and Leonardo and Donatello get thrown into another match. It's crazy. Actually, this is the first witness to testify against Krang that actually has nothing bad to say about Krang. He profited from bad things that Krang has done. And Raphael's really angry in this series. The writers really write him very, very angry. And I don't know how I feel about that.
Wasn't Raphael kind of a little hot-headed sometimes?
He was, but he's super angry. Like, he doesn't even want to be doing this. And I understand he probably doesn't, but I don't know, his character he seems a little out of character. I enjoyed it. Obviously, they got the dude in the end. He came with them, and again, the assassin hacker got thwarted. There's still 2 more issues to go, and then we go into next month's issue, which I'm excited for. And yeah, this book caught my eye, and I had to read it because it looked really interesting. It's called Mage, and it's from Image, if I'm correct.
Yep.
Yep, it's from Image. And it's about this guy who is a mage. He's a mage, and he's hiding out in plains. You know, he gave up being a mage to be a normal person. He has a son. He has a wife.
I like the symbol.
I love it. You can actually buy. I will mention you can buy the symbol. He actually has advertisements in his book. It's actually on. Is it Rip Tees? I think it's on Rip Tees, and there's a figure, and there's a bunch of things. I really do like the shirt. I am actually debating buying that myself. It looks nice, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
And what really caught my eye was the main character is drawn at. How do I say this? The main character is based off of the writer. So the writer looks like that.
Oh,
in the back of the book,
right?
yes, Matt Wagner. Actually, if you look in the back of the book where they talk about the writer, they actually do a half and half. Him and his comic character, they're both the same. So I like that because with Celestial Falcon is based, the main character, Chris, is based off of my personality. And I just found that really cool that there's somebody else doing, it's obviously not the same, but it's another writer who's doing a character based
has the
off
same
himself.
idea as like
yeah, exactly. And what happens is he gets attacked, and now they have to move again. And he's still questioning if there's another mage out there. And, you know, what's happening next. And what happens is when he tells his wife that they're going to have to move again because he was found, shit hits the fan. Well, not bad. Like, the wife gets upset, to be continued. I'm interested. I'm definitely interested in the series. Star Trek, I forget what it's called. Black Mirror?
The Next Generation Mirror Broken.
Mirror Broken, issue number 3. Picard takes the Enterprise. The whole beginning of the book is the actual captain that was supposed to pilot the Enterprise, and he's a dick. I didn't like him from the moment he stepped on that ship and all the crap that he was saying. I was hoping that Picard was going to come on and kill him. What happens is Picard does get on the ship, does kill him by the end of the book, so I was happy about that. Basically, he assumes command of the ship. Anyone who's willing to follow him stays on crew. Anyone who's not, and in the picture you saw Wesley and I forgot her last name. Wow, her name left my mind. And the doctor. He is happy she's on board, and he knows that Wesley was faking having a mental illness in order to follow his mother around. But Wesley actually is very, very smart. And he was the one that was telling his mom, this is a good thing, you know, I put the numbers in my head and it's smart to follow Picard. So they stayed. She stayed as the doctor, and Picard stayed, and they took over the ship, and that's the end of this issue. I really like this issue a lot. The takeover was awesome. I'm looking forward to the next issue. I truly wish they would do a Next Generation period book, IDW. I said I wish they'd do a Highlander one. They didn't. They're doing a great opposite universe Star Trek Next Generation, and I'm saying they need to do a regular Next Generation. They're so fixated on the Star Trek from the movies current. Why not do a Next Generation book as well?
Why not?
I think it would be cool. I would love to see a Voyager book also, but little steps. I would like to see at least Next Generation. That's just my opinion. And that's up to IDW. Quite honestly, that's up to IDW, but IDW has so many really great books. I mean, they're doing excellent. I recommend all the Hasbro stuff. The only reason I don't review the Hasbro stuff, I should start doing honorable mentions again, and I think I will start doing that at least. Because I'm a little bit behind, but I know where the books are going at least. And I'm going to start doing that, guys. I actually think I'm going to start doing that. This week had Revolutionaries. The Hasbro line is really great. It's just really wordy. So that's why I don't review them on time, because it takes me a while to get through the books because there's a lot of dialogue. But Hasbro with Transformers, G.I. Joe and stuff like that, excellent, excellent stuff from them as well. Your turn.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you had another honorable mention.
No, IDW has really great stuff. That's all I have to say.
All right, so I'm going to start my books. I'm starting off with Divinity issue number 0. This is my worst book this week. Because the story, it's really not just a comic. This is a story about this guy who's going like from one Valiant character to another. And it was so wordy. It was like I was reading a story. I did not like this book at all.
Okay.
It just did not grasp me and interest me. I after I was done reading the book, I'm like, what the hell was I reading? So, I really have nothing to say about the book. I'll read issue number 1 to see how it is, but this one did not catch me at all. However, though, there is Secret Weapons issue number 3 that came out this week. And this one actually talks about this character, Ivy. Now, Ivy is this Muslim character who could actually turn into stone. So whoever attacks him, they, you saw his character develop more in this issue. So Nikki and that other guy, I can't remember what his name was for life of me. They're still trying to help Ivy because Ivy is a wanted criminal because of what he did with the cops and everything. And that's what the book is. Now, Livewire is kidnapped by this guy that they were looking for that might have answers to what the hideout's looking for. So now they have to save Livewire from that, which is really something else. Bill and Ted Save the Universe, issue number 3 of 5. We have only 2 more issues left until Save the Universe is over. And just to showing this up, really, it's just basically Bill and Ted. They're in a different universe. And I like the whole Wild Stallions thing, that reference that they did to appeal to the other aliens and stuff like that. And I really like how their connection was really bonded, Bill and Ted. However, though, I think it was Ted who wanted to stay, and then Bill wanted to leave the tour because he's thinking, you know what? All these years, we're doing all this, and we're going to leave our wives behind and everything with the child. I don't want to do this. Maybe you could have Robo-Ted, or I don't know if it was Bill who left. I think it was Bill who left. Bill is the blonde-haired one, right?
I think so.
I don't remember. But one of them left and said you should have Robo-Ted or something. That's all I remember reading. So either they're going to come back together in an issue or at the end, or I don't know how it's going to work out, but something's going to give in that series. I want to give this a shot. Grimm Fairy Tales Tarot. Alright, well, however it's said, issue number 1. And this issue wasn't that bad, really. Starts off with Talisman is fighting off against the army. And he... what are you doing?
Just looking. Go ahead.
Okay, you're throwing me off. So, it talks really about his story a little bit more. And he wants to, form a group together to fight off against the Empire. Because we all know what happened to Robin Hood. We know what happened to... The Living Dead or a Day of the Dead or something like that. So yeah, so they're off in a different universe. So now Talisman, being all by himself, has to find a different group of people, which he does. One that was a little So then the next issue just sets up for the war that's going to happen with Talisman's army and the others. That the Queen of the Emperor, can't remember her name. I think they call it Queen Emperor. And finally, Grimm Tales of Terror, Volume 3. Is it Volume 3? Yeah, Volume 3, issue number 8. This one was really awesome. I love the stories that they tell. It's basically about this woman who she was really interested about how the people levitate off the ground. So she wanted to do a recording using her magic powers to see if it works. And it actually did work. What did it cost was actually a demon that possessed the person to let her levitate. And then Kim it was that they possessed first. And she was going nuts at first and everything. But then when it got to the real big deal, then her other friends got possessed. And the main character didn't get possessed. Why? Her name began with the letter Z, and I can't remember for the life of me. But she actually gets Kim in the end and throws her off the building. But here's the thing, though. It was all a prank. From what the demons are trying to let her say that they're humans and everything else. But, wow. This book was, really, all over the place. But, just wow. I love the stories, and I can't wait to see next issues of Grimm Tales of Terror. Now, I did review this on Comic Frontline, so I'm going to give you a briefie of Street Fighter vs. Darkstalkers issue number 4. And this issue is basically more on the Darkstalker side. Just talks about the House of Doma. The artwork in here is phenomenal. That's why I wanted to show the book. I wanted to show them the artwork. And it's really just the Street Fighters who are fighting off against Lord Raptor, who actually turns to humans thanks to Elena with her powers. So Victor's trying to look for Emily, so that's what their mission is. A little girl just looks at a vision about what's going on, which is the Jetta's plan and stuff like that. And looks like Akuma is going to appear in the next issue. And then the second story was just Predator and Prey. A girl thinks Blanca is a Darkstalker, and that was basically it. Which he isn't.
No, of course he isn't.
So, that was my book for that. So now we'll go to your independent book.
Invincible 139. I'm really excited to see where this all goes. Show you guys some artwork. So, Mark's dad is in critical condition. He didn't die. Rex joins the fight. I'll show that page. Rex joins the fight. Mark's fighting against Tharg. And, of course, the girl finally is starting to see, the daughter is starting to finally see that maybe they're not doing this right. Eve jumps in. She ends up saving the father. Actually, the girl that ended up raping Mark ends up getting critically hurt. I'm not sure. I didn't understand the ending if she died, but the father is still in critical. Because she's laying there. I don't know if her eyes are open or if they're shut. It looks like they're open. You guys tell me. To me, they look like they're open. It looked like she's dead. But basically, she tells Eve that, she has a son. She basically hints it to him. She's like, I'm sorry about what I did, but I'm not sorry at the same time. He'll understand when he sees him. And Eve is like, he'll understand. You tell him yourself. And then I don't know if she died or not, but I'm taking a wild shot in the dark here that she did because of the way she looked. Unless the artist put those black dots there and it looked like her eyes, I think that she did pass on. I guess if Mark survives, he takes Tharg and throws him into the sun. The daughter says, "We surrender. We're done. We don't want to hear it anymore. We're no more death needs to happen. Finally, some common sense." And that's it. So what happens next? Who knows? This book, I didn't know what to expect, and this is why I didn't get single physical copies. However, we're going into the big two, by the way. I will be getting a trade of this book when they either finish or whenever the trade is ready. And that is Future Quest presents Space Ghost, issue number 1. The artwork in this book is exactly like the artwork in the other Space Ghost book that I read. I still have to buy that book. I read it in Barnes & Noble. Really good. I love the artwork. I love the artwork in this book. So basically this takes place after Future Quest and the whole galaxy's talking about it. Omicron is the reason why the Ghost Patrol was destroyed. And now the Space Patrol is not around anymore, but you got Space Ghost who's raising Jan and Jace, to be his, to grow the patrol again. But of course Space Ghost doesn't do interviews or anything. He is a ghost. So everybody questions it. And Jan and Jace can't tell their students in their school, hey, we work with Space Ghost. So what ends up happening is they go to the planet for the Herculoids because those power bands that Space Ghost has, there's only 3 left in existence. His and 3 others. He wants to make even more. But to get that, the material it takes to make those bands is on the planet the Herculoids are on underground, deep underground and protected. And we get introduced to a character who's going to be making a big impact apparently in October, because I was reading the solicits for Future Quest Space Ghost for October. And apparently Metalis, which that's his name, is going to be making his impact.
Oh.
There were name drops like crazy in Space Ghost. Zorak, Brack.
Yeah, well, Zorak and Brack, I mean...
They didn't bring up Moltar, though. I'm kind of sad.
Is that
that's the guy with the that's the helmet guy, yeah.
Well, wasn't he really not mentioned much?
I guess not.
Kinda. I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
But it was good. I really dug it. Right. I'm really happy I'm getting that in trade. Absolute. So that's my first DC trade. Secret Empire, Brave New World. As always, you don't need this book. This is issue number 5. But if you wanted to follow the Namor story, you get that in here. You get other stories in here. But the Namor story finally concludes because, as we all saw in Secret Empire issue 8, it's revealed to the Human Torch that Bucky's alive and Namor was faking. But the people were turned against him. So now he has to explain to the people that it was a farce. It was a act in order to take Captain America away. And now there's another plan in place where they're going to actually attack Captain America.
Why are they focused on Namor? Isn't this like the 4th or 5th Marvel book that Namor has been the focal point?
No, this is the only book.
No, like Jean Grey, Namor was in it, and then the other
what do you expect?
Namor
It's part of the Marvel universe.
No, I'm just saying, like, Namor's like always, the focal character. I'm just saying, that's just me.
But I really enjoyed the Namor story. But again, do you need Brave New World? No. You do not need it. Don't bother buying it. If you must have everything for Secret Empire, you're going to already have it. So me telling you don't buy it's too late. But if you haven't read it and you're debating about it, unless you're a Namor fan And unless you like side stories that truly and honestly do not matter for the main story, because none of it mattered. It was stuff that was going on around Secret Empire and during Secret Empire, but nothing that impacted the main book. Go for it. But honestly, I would not recommend this book to anybody unless you want extra stories that do not matter. If you're looking for story to add to Secret Empire, whatever books you're reading now that are tied into it have more of a tie-in than Brave New World. It's just other stories. Spider-Man 2 issue number 2. I think I'm done with this here. I stopped reading halfway through. I don't know, man. I'm not into it. I'm not really into it. I was reading it and I was like, you know what? It doesn't have the same effect like Spider-Man, the first one, where there was still the Marvel universe and the Ultimate Universe where there was that crossover ability. It's not the same anymore because we've seen Miles and Pete crossover in many other events already. And not only that, the whole idea of the future Miles just... I don't know. I might read it again before Frontline Live tomorrow night or tonight whenever you're watching this video. But I doubt it's going to make my top 5. Highly doubt it. As far as I'm concerned, this is probably going to be my worst pick unless I change my mind on it. I
already have my worst pick, so...
I know what your worst pick is. You just said it before.
Right.
But I don't... No. I didn't care for it too much. Now, Totally Awesome Hulk, issue number 22. The grand finale to Weapons of Mutant Destruction. The final crossover issue to the Weapon X first story arc. Like we predicted, in the end, the monsters turned on, what was his name now? I forgot his name. Stryker. They ended up turning on Reverend Stryker. Totally Awesome Hulk got pissed off at Weapon X because they were killing, or they wanted to kill. Like I said, the monsters turned on Reverend Stryker. Armadeus had to let the Hulk go, so that symbolism we saw in Totally Awesome Hulk, issue number 1, where the Hulk was in the trunk, he broke out of the trunk. So now I think from this story arc, Armadeus Cho is going to be dealing with the Hulk now, which is going to suck. And then I'm probably still going to be reading Totally Awesome Hulk. I don't know if I'll be reviewing it or not. We'll see, because I think the next story arc plays into setting up for Legacy, so I might. If not, then I'll probably jump back in October when Legacy hits. So that's only about 2 issues from now anyway. So, really great. In the end, Weapon X forms. And this is what I don't understand, though. The book Weapon X, right, was the second to last issue. In Totally Awesome Hulk is where the team said, okay, we're Weapon X. Don't you do that in the main book? Shouldn't you do that in the main book where they're like, okay, we're Weapon X?
Why are you doing it in that one?
Apparently, but you know what? If you buy the trades like what I'm doing, the trades collect both Weapon X and Totally Awesome Hulk. So when you buy the second trade for Weapon X, it will end with Totally Awesome Hulk, issue 22, the issue I'm reviewing now digitally. And in that book, it'll say...
But reading it, how are they going to know where that was referred from?
Oh, they tell you what books were as they go
the
into
editor's notes.
Right.
That's why they said it.
So, yeah, apparently in Totally Awesome Hulk is where Weapon X proclaimed, we are the Weapon X, and we're going to take out Reverend Stryker. We're going to stop him because he escaped, and we're going to save those genetically altered Hulk
But
things.
doesn't that spoil what's going to happen in the end, then?
That is the end. It's not ending in Weapon X. It ended in Totally Awesome Hulk.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if you bought the main story book...
That is the main story book.
Oh, that is the main story?
That's part of the main... No, main story. It's crossing over.
Oh, I thought it was the main... I thought it was a side book, and then the main...
No.
Oh, because then that would be really something.
Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows issue number 10. Show you guys some artwork. So, Spidey and Annie Mae are fighting the lizard, who apparently has abducted his son and turned his son into a lizard boy. And unfortunately, they end up escaping. You find out it's Normie Jr.'s birthday. We find out also that Normie Jr. knows the grand old secret of their family and has been taking very small doses of the Goblin Serum to prepare himself to become the next Goblin and take on Spider-Man just like his family, because apparently his dad hated Spider-Man for a while. And what happens is the lizard attacks Normie at Oscorp. Spider-Man and his daughter jump in to save the day. Unfortunately, Normie, who hates Spider-Man, ends up hurting both him and Lizard. Of course, Annie Mae gets pissed off at it, and in the end, they end up getting the lizard, taking off the lizard. You got Spidey's wishing Normie a happy birthday. And Normie, of course, instead of being like, wow, they saved me. Maybe my family was wrong. He's like, dude, you could... And there's a flashback to when... see, I didn't read this story, but apparently there was a flashback to where... oh, God, what was his name? What was his friend's name? Not Norman Osborn. Harry, where Harry was Green Goblin, and he threw himself in the way of Spider-Man to save him, and ended up dying. So Normie, instead of Norm Jr. saying, okay, thanks for saving me, he blames Spider-Man for his father's death. He's like, why weren't you able to save my dad? You were able to save everybody else. You're able to do whatever you want, but my dad dies. So, and then you see like that silhouette of the Goblin. So obviously Normie is going to become the next Green Goblin. And very soon when we get into Legacy, and this is what's going to possibly annoy me, we're going to be jumping, Renew Your Vows, 10 years into the future where... Annie Mae's not going to be so little anymore, and Pete's going to be older, and this is somehow going to become Spider-Girl really quickly, I have a feeling. And that's not going to be cool, because the reason we're reading it now is because it's a good side-by-side with Amazing, which, by the way, Amazing Spider-Man has been dropped as of October, and Hulk has been moved, or She-Hulk, whatever it'll be called at that time, is also moved to a digital format, unless it's a lenticular cover, and I got that. Because yes, we are getting the lenticular covers. I'll throw that out there now. Other than, both books have been dropped. Venom, it depends how Lethal Protector starts, and if that doesn't work, then Lethal Protector will be the end of Venom for us as well.
Okay. So this book I reviewed in the dual review with Street Fighter, and that is Luke Cage issue number 4. So Dr. Noah Bernstein is alive. The artwork, I have to admit, is really, really good in this story. And Luke Cage just having second doubts about the Doctor, like saying, questioning him about his death, like saying, like why he died and stuff like that, and the Doc's like saying, how can you talk like that? I made you, and then you know how they respond back, you made me, and he's like saying I made myself, and I did not want these powers and stuff like that. Then this mafia group comes in that wants to pick a fight with which are called Luke Cage because they feel that the Doctor, instead of saving them, they made them slaves. Kevin, the leader of the mafia, thought that. Then the army comes in with the special blade to attack him because bullets can't kill him. And we find out that Kevin actually is indestructible and wants to face off against Luke Cage in the next issue. Oh boy. This is going to be indestructible versus indestructible. Which indestructible will be the last standing? Well, we're going to have to find out in the next issue of Luke Cage.
Alright, X-Men Blue. This is again connected to... This is issue 9. Now, X-Men Blue and Gold will have lenticular covers, but I did also get regular covers because there's a big crossover between Blue and Gold, and the regular covers are connecting covers. So I got lenticular and regular ones just because of that, but there was a special on them anyway. So in this, we're not talking about that now. We'll talk about this right now. Polaris versus Havoc. Havoc apparently has gone dark, as Polaris says. Jimmy and Jean go to save their friends, which apparently at any moment Beast could have taken those hinderers off with magic. He apparently was waiting for Jean to show up. They fight their way to find Cyclops. Cyclops, of course, is under the control of Emma, who we find out is basically replacing all of young Cyclops' memories with old Cyclops' memories. And we know this because Jean goes into his mind to save him, and we find out that Emma is making him the Cyclops mutants need, or more importantly, the Cyclops she needs. So basically, Emma does not care about being a pedophile at this point. She wants to turn Cyclops into the man she loved because she needs him, and she's going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs without him.
Well, doesn't she always?
Oh yeah, but Jean pushes her out of Psyche's mind completely and saves Psyche, of course. The X-Men escape. Magneto gets blamed, but of course Cap says nothing, and then we find out that Havoc and Emma Frost, while working with Captain America, are also working with Miss Sinister and Bastion, who are the two villains that X-Men Blue have faced thus far. So obviously something is happening. Something's setting up with X-Men Blue. I don't know if this is setting up for Mogo or if it's setting up for future stories, but good stuff. Astonishing X-Men number 2. Now, people were not enjoying Astonishing X-Men. Like I figured, Beast was found out. Remember I said I bet you Beast is Mystique?
No.
Oh yeah. Halfway through the issue,
It was, wasn't it?
Wolverine smells him because she's like, hold on a second. And he sniffs Beast. Boom.
You know, really.
Beast was Mystique. So anyway, the whole book is them watching the X-Men on a screen, and we find out it's this big game between the Phantom King and Charles Xavier. I don't know if Charles Xavier at this point, if that is him or not. Maybe that's him astrologically, like that's a piece of him somehow. And what he's doing is, if the Shadow King wins, obviously the X-Men become his slaves. If Xavier wins, they go away free, and the Shadow King is basically defeated. So, and then you've got regular people out there looking around, trying to figure out, oh, these are all the X-Men that have been on both sides of the field. They just almost blew up our city. What are we going to, guess how we're going to respond? Basically, they're going to shoot them down. So, then Xavier breaks their minds from Shadow King while they're watching this play. He starts throwing in things that didn't happen. They break free of Shadow King's control. And, of course, Mystique is found out, and then all of them go their separate ways. Phantom X is kicked through a door, which that was very gratifying to see. And now it's just to be continued. At first, though, the personality of Professor Xavier didn't seem right. I thought at first maybe that's why it wasn't Professor Xavier, because of the way he was talking. But then, towards the end, when he was actually talking about the X-Men or the people that he's fighting to protect, that sounded like Professor Xavier. So I don't know. Again, I haven't read Professor Xavier in the past couple of years. I only know him from like the 90s. Mm-hmm. So I could be wrong in the personality. But anyway, I enjoyed the book. Is it amazing? No. But it's good. And once the story arc's over, where will Astonishing go next? That's what I'm looking forward to. Generations continues with all new Wolverine. This is getting harder to title and harder because it's like, do I title it All New Wolverine? Do I title it All New Wolverine?
I would say
Wolverine?
Generations and semicolons All New Wolverine.
Slash Wolverine, yeah, basically.
But you're saying Wolverine twice.
So, Laura ends up going back in time to a point where Logan, who is young, is out to save this young girl who is kidnapped by the Hand. And she appears. He's almost dead. She saves him. They fight the Hand. He really doesn't question her too much because he sees the claws and everything. He has, they exchange names. They exchange short pleasantries. They save the girl, long story short. And Sabretooth's involved. It's nice to see the old 90s Sabretooth. The artwork is really good in this book. And then in the end, Laura ends up leaving, of course, after learning a valuable lesson. Or I don't know what kind of lesson she learned, but she got to be with Wolverine one more time. And then the last two pages are the most touching, honestly, because that's where he's like, if you're who I think you are, because you can't tell me, the anger runs in our family. That's how we deal with things. And I know, obviously, I wasn't the best. And then she kind of says, I miss you. I don't want to leave. And it's just really, really touching, especially at the end. And I just really I thought this issue was really, really good. I really enjoyed Generations Wolverine. This was really good. Out of all the Generations I've read so far, Wolverine was good. And I did I read Jean, obviously, because I wanted just to know. It's obviously a miniseries I'm following. It was just Michael's character. But Jean was pretty good as well. So I thought, if you're a fan of All New Wolverine, if you're a fan of Wolverine, this was a good, one-shot story, I feel. Mm-hmm. So, that's just my opinion.
Alright, this book I reviewed also, and that is Green Ash number 29, Hard Traveling Hero, Part 4. I think it was Part 4. Let me just see. Just to be sure. Yeah. And Green Arrow is going off to Gotham City. And we all know what we hear when we go to Gotham City. That means Batman is there. And basically what he does is that he wants to find out more about the Ninth Circle, who's actually working in cahoots with the Court of Owls.
The Court of Owls.
Yeah, the Court of Owls. Yeah, I thought you'd be like, wow, yeah.
The Court of Owls is just becoming one of those things.
Yeah, but the artwork, like this artwork right here, I mean, phenomenal. Love the artwork. I mean, yeah, it is a little bit dark, but when you're in Gotham City, things are dark. But that's why I understand in the book it was dark. So then they're fighting off against the Ninth Circle, who are the Court of Owls, and Green Owl was this close to killing him, and Batman blocked his owls like twice. So it was kind of like stopping him from that. Then they go off against the Burned, which they work together, and they get rid of him because of water. Water takes out fire. Not saying Pokemon related, just this related. And then they just have a talk in the end, and it looks like he's going to meet up with Green Lantern in the next issue.
Yeah, it's supposed to set up for Green Lantern.
Right. And also on the last page, Henry V found out about the stolen tablet thing and finds out more information that could save Oliver from the whole not killing thing.
I'm looking forward to that issue.
Oh, yeah.
Next week starts the Nightwing. What if Nightwing was to go against all the superheroes? There are some very interesting books coming out in October.
I know, I heard about it.
No, for Batman, I mean, there's some one-shots, and
No,
then, of course,
I
there's
meant
something continuing further.
Right, for other books, I meant.
Green Lanterns, issue 29. The training for the Lanterns continue, and we get to see that. We get to see Simon kind of trying to push himself a little bit, and he kind of does, and we find out that Simon has, as they say, Emerald Sight. So regardless, with or without a ring, he has the Emerald Sight, and he sees that Valthum is attacking Oa, and they need to get their butts in gear. So he's like, Lanterns, your training is done. We need to go. We need to get there. We need to get into space. And then first they find the what do you call it? The galaxy that was destroyed by Valthum, and that kind of pushes all the Lanterns to be like, yeah, you know what? I took this ring, I took this oath for justice and truth and everything. We're going to do this. They recite the oath. And Valthum, you're next, buddy. And that's really what happened in this book. Long story short, there's a lot of nice dialogue in here. I enjoyed it. Again, I'm enjoying it, but at the same time, I'll be happy when we scoop back to the main universe and we get to see Valthum defeated. Now, this book, Batwoman issue number 6, takes place in a different time and possibly a different possible future. This book is a glorified setup for Detective Comics number... Detective Comics 969. So the story you're going to read in this week's Batwoman is... Remember when Batwoman first started? And we saw Batwoman attacking Gotham and it looked like she was going to turn evil?
Yep.
Well, we find out what happens because this story opens up with that once again. However, we find out that Batwoman's not the bad guy. Bruce is dead. Somebody else is dead. I forgot who. And it's in the distant future because Jason Todd is around and apparently he looks like Nightwing. He has an eye patch, he's older, she's older, and somebody else is taking up the mantle of Batman. And they keep hinting this new Batman is the reason why Gotham's bad. Gotham is now taken over by Brother Eye. It's run by Batman, and it's basically a forced kind of way of being free. There's also Free Gotham, which is an island that has a treaty with Batman where they don't fall under his ruling. They don't bother them, and Batman's Gotham doesn't bother with them as well. Batwoman is setting up for war against Batman. The Batman platoon, apparently Batman has an army. They find out that Batwoman's in the Free Gotham. This breaks the treaty. Things happen. And then, of course, we find out who the Batman, who took up the mantle after Bruce was killed. Spoiler alert. And because, it's first of all, spoiler alert, it's Tim Drake. Tim Drake, because obviously he's going to get found. Because we got to see that in Detective Comics.
Tim Drake?
Tim Drake is the new Batman. And Batwoman blames herself for the way Tim turned out because she pushed him to do something in the present that made him into the man that he is now as Batman. And I have a feeling that there's going to be something along the lines where I feel like this is going to be a what-if story, but at the same time, it's like somebody's going to reach back in time and try to prevent Tim or prevent Batwoman from making Tim make that decision.
Well, what happened to Dick Grayson or Damian? What happened to them taking the mantle?
We don't know. We don't know where Dick or Damian are.
That's really something. I thought maybe Damian, but Tim Drake, alright.
Nightwing 27, I'm kind of a little... This is going back to Agent Grayson, and I'm kind of not liking it. You're starting to see that Defacer and Pigeon are not getting along too well. You see Pigeon is trying to kind of take over with Defacer, and it's kind of sad because it looks like she's still trying to hold on to her old life, and I have a feeling in the end she's going to end up going back to jail. You've got Tiger and his new group of Spiral fighting against Huntress and Nightwing. They find out that there's something else that went on. They go back to the school, and we find out that Tiger isn't even Tiger, that somebody else is pulling the strings and somebody else wants to, I guess, be Spiral or wants Dick more or less. And I don't know, this story arc kind of, now it's fallen flat. I feel like now you brought Spiral back and it's like now you're falling flat because it's like you're taking 12 steps backwards instead of moving forward. Tim Seeley, man, we didn't, the reason that we started reading Nightwing again was because Spiral was gone. Now you're introduced, look, I understand it's a story arc before anybody jumps down my throat. I understand it's just a story arc. I understand once this arc is over, we'll probably never hear about Spiral for a long time again. But at the same time, dudes, I've had enough of Spiral. I've had enough of Tiger. I've had enough of it all. I would like just him, Bloodhaven. It would have been nice to see him continue with Sean, like try to stop her from being a villain again with Pigeon. It would have been nice to see him. And we do get to see Roland a bit here. Rampage, we get to see him a little bit here. But again, I guess it's just to keep you in the loop of, well, stuff is still going on while Nightwing's dealing with whatever's going on with Spiral, and obviously he'll be back, and he'll be back. I can't wait for him to be back, because honestly, at this point, I don't like the Spiral story arc. I could do without it. I really could. I gave my Trinity this month. I think, is it a one-shot, or it's a part one?
Well, yeah. Trinity issue number 12, Dark Dynasty, Destiny, part 1. And why? Because the people on the cover you see down here, Deadman, Constantine, and Zatanna, I read Justice League Dark, and I remember them being a team, so I thought, why not give it a shot? And it's really just, Zatanna, John Constantine, and Deadman who are going into the house where they see Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. Wonder Woman has the lasso of truth because she has like Jason Todd like tangled in there because of they actually explain the story about why he's possessed and why he's like that. All works really amazing. And what really shocked me is that Deadman, when he tries to go into the mine, he just gets kicked out immediately because the demon inside is like really, really strong. And I believe it's part of Ra's al Ghul's plan of all this possession of what happened. And like I said, they tell a story about that. You could definitely read the book to find out that. But also, we also get Bazaar and Artemis Dire in it, so it also connects with Red Hood and the Outlaws.
So these are both books that Michael likes, so I'm glad that I gave you this book.
Well, Just Like Dark's No More. That was a new fit too. The Red Hood and the Outlaws is current day. And yeah, Superman that goes against Bazaar, Batman, and Wonder Woman now trying to face against Artemis, and they're really, really strong. Which then goes into the backstory, and then just basically Jason Todd saying, I'm going to kill you, Batman. Which is not going to happen.
This is more connected. See, this story, again, this is why I don't like Trinity right now.
I like it.
No, you don't. I know, it's connected to you, but if it was for me, like, let's say you weren't reading Justice League Dark, Red Hood and the Outlaws, anything, this book means nothing to me. Honestly, it means nothing because while the Ra's al Ghul and stuff does connect to stuff that happened in this book, Red Hood and the Outlaws means nothing to me. Justice League Dark means nothing to me. This story, if not for Michael, I probably would have skipped it.
Yeah. Good to see the whole team back together.
Oh, definitely. No, Batman. I have something brown on there. Okay. Yeah. Batman issue number 29. The War of Jokes and Riddles continues. And this entire issue is all about... Is it on the first page or the second page? It has to be the second page. Yep. Bruce Wayne invites Riddler and Joker to a dinner. Riddler's gang on his side, Joker's gang on his side. And this is basically Bruce Wayne saying, I don't give a crap what you guys want. Why Batman? And then he says, I'll give a fortune. And we get the whys, by the way. And he's like, I will give $1 million to the side that gives me the best answer. Because as Bruce Wayne, of course, he can't say he's Batman. He's like, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I don't give a crap about Batman. I will pay you guys to get rid of Batman just to end this war. Because Gotham is what's most important. And if it's the Wayne fortune that's going to save Gotham, fine. So Riddler gives his reason. Joker gives his reason. They all leave. They obviously have hostages. It's a contingency plan. They leave their separate ways, and then we find out that Batman, or Bruce, did this dinner because he wanted to decide, which side to choose as Batman. So obviously Batman is picking a side to the war to end the war. I'm very curious. So this whole dinner wasn't about figuring out who is going to get the millions to stop Batman. This dinner was to figure out what side of the war Batman was going to fall on. Wow. That was a twist of fate. Now, I don't know how I feel about this. This is no longer one-shots. This is an actual miniseries that actually has some books in October, I believe. There's a checklist in the back. I want to just check something real quick. Yeah, this goes all the way into February of next year. And I'm surprised because... Oh, wait. Are there any books in... No, there aren't. Okay. Merciless. So, let me show you the title. It's Batman Metal. I'm sure you all understand what this is already. So, we are... Literally, they're throwing numbers out at us. There's... For this month, only... Well, for the past couple of months, we had The Forge, The Casting... And now we have Batman Metal #1. Other books connected to this will be, and this is how it's going to go in the timeline, Teen Titans. Mm-hmm. Then Batman Metal 2. Batman Red Death. Nightwing. So Nightwing's going to have a part in this. Batman Murder Machine. Suicide Squad. Batman The Dawnbreaker. Green Arrow 32. Dark Knight Metal #3, which is coming out in October in the beginning. We have Batman the Drowned, Batman the Merciless, The Flash 33, which we neither of us get, so Batman Devastator, Justice League 32, Batman Lost, one shot, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, Batman Who Laughs, we have Justice League 33, Dark Knight's Metal 4, Hawkman Found one shot. These are going into next year now. And then Dark Knight Metal 5 and 6. I honestly hope that DCBS-wise, I grabbed everything. I know that I got everything for... I believe I did my order for November. Yeah, Who Laughs is November. October, I think I was a little off on the one-shot, so I might have to grab some of the one-shots from... Midtown. December only has 2 books. January only has 1 book. And then February has 1 book as well. So Dark Knight Metal. Let's talk about this book. Holy crap, this book went all over the world and back again. It truly and honestly did.
In a good way?
This would be my worst pick if I don't add it to be Spider-Man. And it's not really truly bad. I mean, it opens up with Mongol fighting, or the Justice League fighting Mongol, and their powers are being hindered. We find out that the history of Aquaman having a hook was revealed. Apparently, there are these robots that the Justice League can touch their symbols on, and then they become a Megazord?
Huh?
Uh-huh. And they defeat Mongol, and then it goes back in time to them coming home.
What is Wonder Woman wearing over her mouth?
That's for air. They're in space up here.
Oh, I didn't see
So then they're coming home after defeating Mongol, I guess, and there's this huge, gigantic mountain that's appeared in the middle of Gotham with a bunker on the inside, and the bunker has all this stuff. We don't know what it is, but we see Red Tornado for the first time ever. We get to see Hawkgirl, or as she calls herself, just Kendra Sanders. She talks about Hawkman, which we've seen in the previous 2 issues. We get Starman again. I haven't seen him since the 90s. The Justice League is introduced to the multiverse map, which we could have gotten a poster of a while ago. I think about back when the New 52 was happening. And then they find out that Batman is going to be the reason why the dark door to the dark... There's basically a dark dimension. She flips over the map and shows just a black map. She's like, there's apparently a black matter universe or multiverse that we don't know about, but apparently they can tap into that too. So there's not just 52 Earths, there's a dark verse also. And Batman is rumored to be the one that opens that gate. Red Tornado comes out of hibernation, starts attacking. Batman escapes, gets back to the Batcave. We start seeing visions of the stuff that's going to be coming. And we find out that they couldn't find, so we're getting to see dark visions and things to come. And they're still looking for Carter Hall's journal. And then we find out that Carter Hall's journal all this time was in Bruce Wayne's study. A lot of shit happened in this book. And it happened fast, and it happened insane. It was just insane. And mind you, guys, this is just to start up another part of the DC Universe. The metal part of the DC Universe.
Wow.
This big event. Well, it's not really an event, But this big thing that's happening with Batman, this big metal event that's going on all the way through until February. Understand the checklist. I'll show you guys the checklist. I mean, I'm sure you guys can look it up too. This is the whole event that's going on. The whole thing. And it's crossing over to multiple different books. The only books that we're not getting are Flash and Justice League out of all of those. And all of this has to do with starting a different part of the DC universe. A lot of people were disappointed with Metal. This book was just everywhere. And this book went all over the world and back again. If I don't read Spider-Man, that's going to be my least favorite pick, because it just was very confusing. I had to read it twice, honestly, because it was like, what's going on? What's the point of all this? And what are they trying to promote here? Superboy or Super Sons issue number 7. Superboy joins the Teen Titans. They go back against Time Master. We find out that it's Cracklow, who's this old man magician who apparently got his powers from an alternate universe version of himself. And he made these 3 supervillains, the Time Commander, Atom Masher, and Faceless Hunter, in order to fight, in order to benefit himself. And he fought the teens in order to bring in the adults. The adults didn't come. The teens came, and there's some funny stuff in here with Robin being old. Long story short, the Titans defeat the clay-made supervillains. They decompose. Robin turns young again. The Titans basically say, dude, Superboy's part of our team. If we need him, we're going to call on him again. And then apparently Robin and Superboy get attacked by these monsters that I believe were the monsters that were supposed to attack Cracklow, the magician. Mm-hmm. They're from the universe basically where the clay supervillains came from. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next with Super Sons. I love how every issue, except for last issue because Robin was old, ends with Robin and John having an argument. Really good stuff. I love Super Sons. Super Sons is an enjoyment to read. And finally, Superman 29. Very slow-paced issue. This boy finds... Apparently, Parallax makes it back to Earth. And finds this boy and possesses him. And then all of a sudden, for the next couple of weeks, 2 weeks later, a huge amount of kids go missing. And Superman is now on the case looking for these kids. And it turns out it's the kid possessed by Parallax kidnapping these kids. I like the lightning effect with fear in the lightning. And Superman actually finds Parallax, gets knocked out by Parallax, chases Parallax. That's everything that happens in this book. And then basically this was all a ploy to get Superman, to possess Superman, and basically use Superman. And this is actually, I found out, this is leading into something that's going to be happening in Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. So this story arc is going to be around at least till November, because in November, as the solicits say, Superman will be in Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. Obviously, this will say to be continued in Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, and obviously it'll be going on to the next story, I think, unless it does cross over. But long story short, in the end, to save the kids, Superman agrees to let Parallax possess him, but, as we all know from Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps issue number 25, Sinestro's back, and he wants his entity to be continued. So this is a setup story, I guess, since Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps right now are dealing with the New Gods. This is setting up for the next story arc. And I'm looking forward to it. I thought this was a nice setup. It was a how did I put it before? It kind of was a fast read. Not really much happened. It was more of a setup. It was a bit slower paced. That's the word I was looking for. It was a slower paced book. But again, I think things will pick up with the next issue. I enjoyed it. I'm happy to see, not only will we have Green Arrow crossing over with Green Lantern, but we'll have Superman not only crossing over with Green Lantern, but Green Lantern having Superman cross over with it in the future. Awesome stuff. It was a nice week. Honestly, nothing I didn't like as far as worst pick, except for the one book, which was Spider-Man. As far as Metal, it was just really... It was my... If I had to make a chart, that would definitely be my least favorite. Just because it was all over the place. And what exactly are we getting here? What's the end game? What are we doing? Where are we going?
We'll have to find out.
I guess we will. And that's it for this week's review. As always, guys, it's your turn now. Let us know what you guys thought about the books that came out this week. Likes, dislikes, agree with us, disagree with us. recommendations, feel free to leave those in the comments below if you like. Also, let us know what you think about the show as always. Thank you so much for the people that have commented on our show. I appreciate that. It shows that you really enjoy watching these reviews every single week as we do them. Makes us, feel good that we're doing these reviews still instead of canceling the show like originally intended. Like I said, next week we'll be back to a live show format. I am working on a Discord as we speak that will not only connect to my gaming channel on Twitch, but will connect here to comic books. As soon as I get some things worked out, create some rooms and stuff like that, specifically for comics and games, I will be sharing the Discord link in the channel links. So you guys are definitely welcome to come over to Discord, have nice chat. It's a Skype. It's Skype meets message boards meets audio boards, because you have verbal rooms where you could actually audio rooms where you can talk as well. So I'm working on the Discord as we speak. It's going to connect everything I do here and everything I do on Twitch.
Yep.
And all my enjoyments and all of your guys' enjoyments that you enjoy hearing me talk about. And then, as I said, I'll talk about it probably on the next Dark Avenger podcast once everything is finished on the Discord. I already started it, and I feel kind of like it's starting to build up, and I haven't really worked on it yet. I haven't really worked out the sections yet so that everybody knows where to go. So as soon as I do that, I'll have the link up on here. I'll share it in the comments, and I'll share it in the description links, which there are a ton of description links below. And I'll share it on the channel links, so you guys will find it. You'll be able to join the Discord and have some fun with us. Of course, I do have moderators on there that will make sure that all the troll issues will be dealt with. Oh. So if you're a troll, don't even waste your time. That Discord is monitored by mods or myself nearly 24/7. I have people all around the world on the Discord already. So thank you guys so much for being here. As always, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we'll see you guys really soon in the next video.
Hey, everybody.